What's up, everybody? Welcome to the J Chains Crypto Show. Joined, as always, now on Mondays is my guy Bleeves. You can also call him the only remaining member of Crypto for Kamala. White dudes for Harris. That shirt's still on. I'm still got to make the shirt and send it to you. You got to wear it at some point.
Yeah, dude, it's going to take me days. Like, I am in line waiting now to get my dick cut off so that, I can be part of the crew. And
Are you gonna just like hold off on the sex and all that kind of stuff?
just waiting, here, kiss it better. It's gone now. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be just absolutely wild. You know what? I'm going to pop this up. We're going to stream on everywhere.
I love it. I love it. Guys, go ahead, smash the like button, hit the heart, do the things that you got to do as we get started to make sure that we can bring some more friends in here. We're going to have a great conversation today. I'm flabbergasted that if you were to pull up the crypto chart of the Bitcoin today, when today started, for Christ's sake, Bitcoin was at 80,500.
Yep.
We are now at $87,000 Bitcoin. We're going to touch 100K a lot sooner than I think, unless we're going to top out, come back down to earth, range for several weeks. Because this happened fast, man. This happened hot and heavy. What do you think? What do you think about this?
You just saw my chart before we started. I had 90 plugged in here already. So I already knew it was coming. Like and by the way, I didn't know it was coming this fast. I knew it was going to be November, or at least I suspected it would be November, maybe the middle of December before we cooled off for Christmas. But I mean, now 110, maybe 100,000. There's a lot of Deribit says there is a lot of strikes at 90,000 and 100,000. So it's going to be very, very tough to get above those numbers. But I mean, we're almost there.
Yeah, man, it's wild. And when we'll pull up the charts here in a little bit, and we'll look at the fibs and all the you're good with the Fibonacci's. And this we'll try to figure out where we're at in the zones and kind of what we should be looking at. If you were to from my opinion, and you always got to respect the trends, right? Even the bottom trends. And this thing has obviously just absolutely exploded up, which means there's probably very little volume propping it up in certain ways. And you go back and you look at historical spots where we may have had, some resistance that's now hopefully going to be some support. Those are the places that we got to start looking at for things to come back down to, so that, if you're a trader, you can get your next entry. If you're trying to do your next big buy, you don't want to buy here at 87 when I'm expecting a big retracement at least to the low 80s very soon, possibly the 70s, within maybe a week or so. We literally have to. There's no way
whenever we say that that's going to happen, we know it's going to happen, and then it doesn't immediately happen, and then we're like, oh well, fuck it, let's just do it. And we put the money in, and that is exactly when the market tanks. So yes, it is going to come back down. And really, I suppose we could, I give you the best estimate of where we're going to go in just a little while, because
want me to pull your screen up?
Yeah, sure. Let's pull it up. So your liquidation heat map right now on the 1 hour is showing a lot of longs that have been leveraged round to the lower 80s that have just broken. I mean, this is just today. So right. I would suspect no matter what, we're coming down to at least 79. When we break it out a little bit further and we come back to the 3-day, we're looking for the biggest area of liquidity for the longs to just get annihilated, right? Because that's what moves the market. Now that we've got this big number up here, we got to come back down here. And again, it just checks out in 79.5. When you come out to 1 month, then, and we've swept the liquidity at the top. So now you get into right there, 74,216. So if there's a retracement, then it's going to kind of, it depends on, of course, where buyers step in. And we don't know where they're going to set their buy orders right now. I would suspect that it's somewhere down in this sort of range right here at the bottom of all of this liquidity here, which is somewhere near 71, 72. But when you look at it from a fib retracement, gee,
Mhm.
like it's not even going to come down into that range. It actually, the biggest liquidity that we have, 74,200. And if you remember, when we were talking about earlier, where is that golden zone? 74,800. So if we wick down in here, then it'll be probably necessary and fortunate, but it is getting ready to break out. And I mean, when we start to zoom out here, I mean, this impulse move right here is telling us that 120,000 could be the play out. That is nuts.
I mean, so you have to think like there's going to be one of two things that happens, right? Like the people who are in the camp of saying that in the hundreds is where we're going to stop.
Yep.
I think we've given our bullish case scenarios for Bitcoin. Like I still am kind of a firm believer that we may peak into like the threes, right? But I still don't think that that we should be this close to 100 quite yet. Like it just happens so fast. Now I get like bull runs are irrational, and that's the one thing that you got to remember is that it's always going to do what you think it's not going to do. And like a quick rip up to 100K or 90,000 or whatever is going to happen at the end of the day today, or whenever this move stops, so whenever we find the top, that then becomes the benchmark, I think, for what's the next step to get up to, right? Like
Yeah.
we're basically setting the tone of what's next after we go down. And I mean, I feel like 87,000 is a pretty good number considering.
When you're in a bull run, you have these you have 1.618, which is the 161.8%, which is your golden ratio, right? Then you have 261, 361, 461, right? Pull that chart back up and
Yeah.
you can see like where we are. Like it's just absolutely unbelievable. If we actually broke out like this is a bull run and we get that full 461% upgrade or move right here, it's 182,000 just off of the current rip that we're on.
Do you
So,
know, is there it's like the standard move? Is it like, you measure things in bars like on the charts and stuff? Is there a kind of standard spectrum that you should expect for a full fib retracement? It's like, usually within, 180 days, you should be able to run the gambit, or is there no
I mean, it's
information?
a 4-year cycle. So, your bottom is going to come. And by the way, it's always come at the same point. But so, the top of the market was over here late part of 2021, going through 2022. The end of 2022 was where the bottom fell out right there. So it would be my estimation that we're going to go through and that the bottom of the market is October, November, December of 27. So, you know, long term, that's going to be the move. But, this is the fib retracement. This is the full fib move from the previous low up to the top. And we always hit the golden ratio. So there it is right there, 176,212. And I put this green little box here a while back because I said, once we get into this range right here, this is where we should get an altcoin season. So if we continue to surge through this, that's going to be 95,000 right here. That would actually check out and be like, this is where we get altcoin season. That's where it comes from. What you're seeing right now is, first of all, it's always about Bitcoin. What Bitcoin does then resonates with the rest of the market. Bitcoin got on a big surge a couple of days ago. And then after that big surge, what happened? Ethereum took over the market. While Ethereum was taking over the market, what else was happening? Solana was taking over the market. And we were seeing these gigantic surges in the layer two, that total two altcoin minus Bitcoin started to pump and started to pump and started to pump. Well, because we have these ETFs and because we have all of these Wall Street guys coming into the market, Bitcoin is now ripping one more time, and that money will start to cascade down. And really, if you're looking for confirmation of that sort of bias, then your question would be, well, what do stable coins look like right now? And when you look at the stable coins on Tether,
Mhm.
210 billion is Tether has a market cap right now of 210 billion. I mean, when you look at it and when you take an honest image of where the market cap on Tether is right now. A couple days ago it was 208 billion. $8 billion came into this market to where we are now. We are continuing and continuing and continuing to surge. Matter of fact, I guess the way we should look at it is where are we at here? 123.66 billion was sitting in Tether. 123.55. So $100 million has re-entered this market today.
Wow.
And that's while Tether is still hovering around its all-time high.
Yeah.
So, what you're looking at right now, this is just the beginning. We've got a long, long, long way to go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's really exciting too. Like
Yeah.
there's an article that I was looking at when I was looking at some things for the show earlier. The government of Bhutan, they've got they're one of the countries that has been stacking Bitcoin, and their stack now is worth over $1 billion. And so, when news articles like that make way, it's like that to me. It's like, we've been talking about this. I talk about it on the morning show. I know that I've talked about it with you about how we're going to see mass adoption come. And it's like, we've already seen the institutional side. We know that. The government side is happening right now. You see articles like this where they're printing, a billion, a country's got $1 billion in Bitcoin. Like other countries in the world are going to be like, fuck, we want to be a part of that. I mean, so it could be countries buying right now. And that's what's causing this price just to rip up today.
Yeah.
We might not see a retracement.
Shit's out of control. By the way, we gotta pull one more thing up here because I need everybody to see this.
Yes.
This is my girl, Coins Chick. Been sticking with her this whole time. Look at this fucking breakout that just happened.
Dude, that chart is fucking nuts, man. That thing has just been, I wish it, like, I bozoed it, but man, that thing has just been ripping.
This is going to, it hasn't yet, but at some point, this is going to be discovered by people. All the things that you need to do to make it start to rip are just going to happen. I'm covering it. There's a lot of other people, Tom Crown, all these guys, it's in that ethos right now. It is only a matter of time before this thing gets discovered by whales. And when the whales discover this thing is going to be, 10 million market cap.
What is
it
it
to 10
right
million
now?
market cap? That's 50x from where it is right now.
What's the market cap on it now? 100,000?
200,000. Like this thing is going to end up, it's the bull market. We're at the start of the bull market. All we need is an altcoin breakout. You know what I mean? Like just one altcoin breakout. We get one altcoin breakout, and the next thing you know, this thing is sitting at a 10 million, 20 million market cap. I mean, that's 100, 200x away from where it is right now. I mean,
Dude,
everybody
I love
here
that.
is in so early right now.
I love that about the bull run, man. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, make sure you smash the like button, hit the heart, do the things, because we are going to be dropping some album. I think that we should probably look at some. Listen, the Bitcoin is absolutely on a tear. We're about to hit 88,000. Man, we just have been hitting all-time high after all-time high after all-time high today. It has just been nuts.
Yeah.
87,650 right now. At some point, I expect this thing to cool down, but you just never know.
Let's show off the big dog. Crypto.com.
My
absolutely broke out today. It's up 60% on its daily, wicked out at 20.4 cents. It is absolutely exploding. It is absolutely exploding. Was trading at 7 cents just a couple days ago. Now up 300% from that bottom. So this thing is just, it is insanity. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, crypto.com is set to become a bank in 2025.
Yeah, you were talking to me about this, man. Let's talk about that, because that's a game changer, right? Like,
Yeah.
They kind of have you feel like they've already been well established at setting some of that infrastructure up, and within the ecosystem, they got the cards and the custody and the DeFi and all that stuff. I mean, I think it's like it's a really good next step for them. What do you think about that?
Well, I was not look. I was unsure of what this would look like overall. I want to like crypto.com. It makes perfect sense for crypto.com to be at the forefront, but for
Mhm.
whatever reason, it just hasn't grabbed the fabric of America. It hasn't grabbed people's attention in the way that crypto.com should. Now, that could be a symptom of we were just in a bear market and things were not happening in a positive light. They were not happening the way that they, we're in the bear market. Retail was gone. But now retail has returned. So go ahead and pop the screen back up because like you guys should see what's happening over here. This is the 2025 roadmap for crypto.com that came out, and this is why people are super bullish. First of all, when you talk about crypto, there's going to be a web app and some Chronos AI dev tools for people to improve their Chronos chain. The exchange is going to expand and across the world, especially in America. There's going to be a fiat on and off ramp expansion. Now, what that means is we're going to get to that in just a second. But then there's going to be rewards on Bitcoin staking, and then crypto rewards maximizer, institutional custody in 2022, which means Coinbase now has a competitor, which is going to be great for crypto,
Absolutely.
especially crypto.com. Crypto.com is putting out their own stable coin. They've got an AI powered trading tool. Chronos One is coming. I don't even know what that is yet. Then you have margin derivatives. And remember, they had up or down. They didn't have derivatives. They just had that up or down stupid thing. Then you
Mhm.
got the Chronos ETF submission, and then you've got the Singularity API. However, here's where it gets interesting because now they're moving away from crypto as the primary motivator and they're moving into stocks. Stocks and ETF trading will be available on crypto.com, just like on Robinhood in the second quarter. Then you will have stock options in the third quarter, and then you'll have commodities and index derivatives in the fourth quarter of 2025. Not only that, when you move down to banking, you can now have a personal multi currency account. You will earn yield on your cash. You've got 1 second, 1 cent global transfers, and then you can set up international bank and business accounts, but that's going to be quarter four of 2025. But then credit cards. Now, they've already been in Latin America. So that's already started. But when you get to the second quarter of 2025, there will be credit cards from crypto.com, prime cards from crypto.com. And prime cards are basically those USDT backed cards that you can just throw money into. Remember the old Crow cards
Mhm.
that you could use where you just had to load it up? They're going to have prime Crow cards, and then you're going to get a 10% travel rebate. This is on a new level. This means that basically
Wow.
crypto.com has stepped up its game to the point where Coinbase is now going to have to keep up.
Well,
And
good. They
that's
should.
going to be
I mean,
great for
you know,
crypto.
I feel like every time there's a lot of activity, and obviously there's a lot of scaling, and that's maybe part of the problem with our whole industry and ecosystem. But like Coinbase feels like every time that activity gets wild, at least in the last run, everything would shut down. Be like, sorry, we got to pause, we got to halt everything, where it's system overload or whatever. So it's good. I mean, I feel like that healthy competition breeds a better product, ultimately a better end result for the consumer, not only the people who are building it, or the companies that are providing the services or solutions.
Everybody's going to be forced to put in more work and do a better job. And that is good for us.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100% on that. I agree with you. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. GM guys, hopefully you are having a wonderful afternoon. Go ahead, make sure you smash the like and hit the heart as you do. Come on in here. 90K or bust. I tell you what, brothers and sisters, 87,930 climbing.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit 90,000 today. We might
It's just
even hit
going.
100,000
It's
today. It's only
just
fucking 4 o'clock in the afternoon. My
look.
God.
So just so you guys know, we were debating whether or not we were at the top just a few moments before we started this show, and I'm like, look, at 114 billion that we were up on the day, I was like, sure to God, it's not going to go any higher. And I'm at the gym, it goes to 132 billion. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's still going. And it goes to 146 billion. And then I leave the gym and I text Justin. I'm like, hey, I'm on my way. I'm gonna oil up my
You're gonna
pecs
oil
to
your
get ready
nipples.
for the show. And when I got home, we're up 186 billion. And then the next thing I know, we're over 200 billion right now. Okay. So guys, just look, you've made it. We've all made it. By the way, Trump is pumping again finally. MAGA is finally, it dumped super hard.
Is that there's one on I actually have one on Femex that I'm in a MAGA. Let me see what's going on with that token, because that thing I bought like $75 of it and it dropped down to like 30. Yep.
Then that's probably MAGA.
Yeah, mine's still down to $30. Yeah, it's
$1.90 right now. It was trading at $4, $5 a couple days ago. As soon as he got elected, there was the Trump dump. And after this Trump dump, like when you look at it, here's the thing. When you look at it from a volume perspective, you can't be anything but bullish on the Trump token. Okay. And when you look at 4 years, then this is still a billion market cap project. We just haven't hit that billion yet. You know what I mean? So it's, and I've got, I dumped in half. So my 2000 is now 1,000, but I'm not even worried about it. You know, like I'm not even, I considered this that I could just lose it and be fine.
yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe over the next couple years something happens, you know.
Well, the next couple of months, because the inauguration is going to be the next pump moment. When he announces that Bitcoin is going to be strategic reserve, those little things right there, they're going to pump this thing back up. And when we get into the euphoria phase, don't be surprised. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, by the way. So if you tell me that I am, I'm going to tell you you're a fucking liar later on. But there is a possibility. Remember, we were talking I think it was last week, we were talking about one of these cryptos, one of these meme coins is going to be 100 billion market cap. Remember that? Why not Trump?
Why not? I mean, it could be.
You know, why not just out of nowhere, instead of Pepe, instead of Doge, instead of SHIB, why not the daddy of crypto, Donald Trump?
DJT. Now here's like you just throw logic just goes out the window at this
Right.
point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we're at. $88,000 Bitcoin. I see Mike Lowry said it in the chat. I willed a 10K candle into existence. I've been calling it. I said we haven't seen a 10K candle yet. We need one. Now we need one in the opposite direction, in my opinion. We have to come down. We need a little healthy consolidation and correction. It's just like we just need it. Maybe that's the bear market skeptic inside of me still. I don't know. But I feel like that makes a healthy market, right? Just a little bit of pumpage, a little bit of let's collect ourselves and then gather the troops and then go back. But that's the whole thing, is that I feel like 150K that some people are calling for, that's chump change. We're like almost there.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is Mike Lowry acting like he's Mike Lowry when he's not Mike Lowry. He's really Martin Lawrence. What was his name? Martin Bennett? Was he Bennett?
Martin Lawrence. It was
No,
Will
in
Smith and
Bad
Martin
Boys.
Lawrence, right?
Mike Lowry is from Bad Boys. Hold on. No, I got it. I think it was Martin Bennett.
No, it's Martin Lawrence.
No. Martin Lawrence is the actor. Marcus. Mike Lowry and Marcus.
You want Mike Lowry?
I'm Mike Lowry.
He said that's his name. That's the actual name.
God damn it. Anyway, so dude, I look, for everybody who's in chat, you made it. Like you're here. And by the way, 88,300. It's continuing to surge. Bitcoin is still going. We're at 214 billion in market cap up. Everything is not breaking out yet, but just so you guys understand, Bitcoin eats first, and we always forget that, but Bitcoin eats first. And once Bitcoin has done whatever it's going to do, that money is not leaving the market. Some of it will, but the rest of it is coming into alts. The next thing up is 4,000 Ethereum, maybe even 5,000 Ethereum, maybe even 10,000 Ethereum. And then Solana, $350 Solana. It's all coming. Like, you know, it's consolidating right now, waiting for Bitcoin, and then it's all about to break out. And then when it does, that super cycle, okay, that real super cycle is about to kick off. So Get your shit
Bitcoin
packed
did a
because huh?
Bitcoin has done a 10% day today.
Yeah, 9.76 at this point. So it's gonna hit probably 10 and a half by the end of the day. If it continues. If it continues.
Now, like historically speaking, like when does I mean, now that we have like more of like institutional and TradFi money in here, when does the day end? Like when do you expect like all right, like everybody's trading day's over. Like the trading day doesn't end here, right? So like
Yeah, no, it does. It never ends. Here's so it's very cool that we're at that spot now where TradFi is involved. And the thing to remember is there will be days when it gets weird because there's going to be sell-offs, there's going to be problems, there's going to be difficulties that we have. It's a long and winding road. But ultimately, the market is going to have to change and adopt a 24-hour model, which we
mhm.
were not going to get with Gary Gensler. But we could start to see ETF regulation change. And instead of getting a 9 to 5 model, we could get a 24-hour model. And that would lead to the Dow Jones becoming a 24-hour model. These are things that people aren't even thinking about at this point,
And that's
but
the
that are going to have to start happening in order for us to be part of, to get out of what you would call, I suppose, government control. We have to
yeah.
get out of that, and that would be a way for it to happen. I mean, 24-hour trading.
Well, I think that's that you can start to make the case for the RWA thing, right? When we start to tokenize all that stuff, like you can bring that stuff into our ecosystem very easily, and through the tokenization. I say very easily. I don't mistaken that for me actually knowing how they're going to bring all that there, but that's the whole plan, right? And so moving the financial system to that digital and also 24-hour accessible system, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like, if you start to think about, say, like BRICS and all the countries that are going to represent BRICS, and like you got the whatever we're going to do with the people that we want to do our thing with, it's going to help that. Lost my point. Yeah.
It's going to help the health of the market overall,
I mean, at the end of the day,
basically.
yeah, for sure.
And it's going to help all of us. I mean, you know, there's going to be there's a moment in time coming very, very soon, and it's going to look like March on steroids, February and March of this year on steroids. If you go back, and I'll just use, say, Pepe, because
Mhm.
Pepe was the one that really kind of resonated at that point. And when you look at Pepe, then there it is. I got it pulled up right now. Um,
Sorry.
Pepe from the middle of February, beginning of February, kind of broke out, and then it went up and 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 all the way, and it went up 1,800%.
Phew.
Everybody holding Pepe got an easy 18x. That's just the start. That's what happened when Bitcoin was ripping. We didn't catch all of these things because not everything started to rip the way that we hoped, right? But guess what? That's all going to change. You're going to start to see things like MSI with this tiny micro cap absolutely explode and break out. You're going to see Dog with Hat, which did the same thing as Pepe back then, just absolutely break out and explode. You're going to see a lot of these different cryptos. And by the way, again, I think this Trump one could still be a winner. It's trading at like $2 right now, but a billion market cap would be about $24, $25. And what if it's a 10 billion market cap? Because it's Donald Trump. And look, Donald Trump's the luckiest person on the planet, right? I mean, at this point, you have to just say some of this has to be luck, right? Um, he escapes every admonishment that anybody gives him. He doesn't pay a penalty for anything. I mean, you have to recognize this is the luckiest person that's probably ever lived. So why not see something like that happen too? You know?
I would like that. I would like
Yeah.
to hit 1,000x. You hear them are happening all the day, man. Frank, and now, what do you think? Have you heard the story about Frank? there was something that he posted. Frank from D Gods.
No.
He's like one of the younger guy, whatever. He's the D Gods is like an NFT thing, but he turned like $500 into like 1 million and something in like the last several days, just trading off like these shit meme coins and stuff. Where do you? I mean, besides like the people who are in the trenches who are locked in there all day long, like where do you find a lot of your calls? Like some of the coins that you were pulling up there, like is it the groups that you're in? You're just doing your research? Like where are you finding your calls at?
So, I mean, if you want to watch, Pump.fun is where you go watch for your, for shitcoin showdown. You know what I mean? Like that's the place. Pump.fun is the place for it right now. And basically, I mean, really at this point, all you have to do if you really want to get into these meme coins and stuff, throw $50 at every single meme coin that you see pop up. Um, for me, I don't really do that because like I'm not like Ben Armstrong. I'm not balling out. I'm not billionaire Ben. I hope he gets to $1 billion one day, man, so we can call him billionaire Ben. But
That'd be fun.
um, you throw $50 at everything, and eventually one of them just explodes, and it pays
Right.
for everything that you've done. So that's basically the premise is you just toss money at everything, and take your original investment out. Originally, take that $50 out, and let the rest of it just ride, no matter what no matter what that multiplier is.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. And as far as for me, when people start approaching me and friends of mine come to me and they say, "Hey, look, I got this project. Look at it and tell me what you think." And half of them are good. Of those half, maybe 10% of those half are even going to survive, even if they are good. And I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And then you just kind of find one or two or three. And look, I think somebody said it a while back. Like you shouldn't really have more than 10 conviction plays.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Like
with
that's
you.
it. That you shouldn't have. You can run shitcoin city. Just start throwing money at all these different shitcoins. And look, when we get into this portion. By the way, I do have a friend. His name is Brian. He's a metal guitarist. He, in fact, made $16 million in this last run. Lost a bunch of it because he thought he was the greatest trader in the history of forever, and he thought the market was up only. And he was brand new to it, and he just like, he was telling all of his friends like, "Hey, you got to get into this." Like, I made all this money off of this, right? Well, all of his friends got fucking wrecked.
Oh no.
Right? He got absolutely wrecked. Um, so you know,
They blame
um,
him.
But you know what? He's back now because what happened in that period of time is he learned how to become a trader. He
Mm.
learned how to trade these coins and tokens, and he finds these low gems and stuff like that, and he just goes for it. And like Mike Lowry saying that's how Carl from the Moon made it big. Like, by the way, when you're listening to these guys, you're not listening to successful investors when it comes to trading. Most of us threw money at a shit coin and won. Jake Gagan. Jake Gagan can't trade meme coins and shit.
Right.
Jake Gagan got a couple. He got into Shib early, started making Shib videos, made a bunch of money off of Shib, moved a bunch of money into Saitama. Saitama mooned. He made a bunch of money off of Saitama. Like Jake Gagan is not a day trader. You know what I mean? So listening to him for how you should be approaching trades is nonsense. But that doesn't mean that, by the way, he has no value. He's an entertainer. Same thing with Rodney. These guys, Rodney, by the way, better trader than Jake, no
Yeah.
matter how you look at it. But at the end of the day, these guys are they made their money by getting lucky. Carl from the Moon made it by getting lucky. They got in at the
They were
early
early.
part of
They
a
were
bull
early.
market. Yeah,
Like that's the thing, and like nothing against these guys, but
nothing.
that was the thing back then. Listen, look, in the last run there was 10,000 coins. There's multiple millions now. Like
Yeah.
your chances of finding those, a needle in a haystack was a lot easier back in 2017 than it is for right now. It was a lot easier back in 2020 than it is right now. But people are still going to find them, man. And shout out to all the people that do find those
Yep.
things.
And if you work hard, you will find it. You know what I mean? Like, and by the way, when somebody from D Gods, who's one of the quote unquote insiders in the shitcoin game, tells you, "Oh, I turned $500 into $1 million."
You know how.
Yeah, they did it because they got inside details from somebody who was going to pump a coin to begin with and already had VC involved, and they were already telling people, "Hey, this is what's gonna happen." And he got in early because a friend of his hooked him
Yeah.
up. The end.
I got I'm in one. I'm like there's a couple of my shitcoin plays right now are down pretty good, so I don't want to show them, but maybe that's the time to get in. I don't know. Hmm, not right now. I got on one. There's a like Mike, or we had a couple guys in our group this week call some pretty good something on base, and then we had one VHS. The VH1 I was going to tell you about VHS. I posted a couple tweets about it this week. Man, that thing ripped up. I like 4x on that thing, and it is just down considerably today. But I think you would expect that a lot of people are putting money into Bitcoin, right? That's kind of what when
Well, yeah, they're putting it in Bitcoin, but there's also that fucking AI coin today. Like it went. I mean, like it went out. I can't even explain this one.
I
I
wore
mean,
my I
from
wore my
nowhere.
Dogecoin. I wore my Dogecoin
Nice.
today. I got credit for the pump, so you're welcome, guys.
I think it's called Act. Is that it? Yeah, Act One. Here we go.
Oh yeah. We were looking at this on the live stream. Like, what the heck is this thing? That
Yeah,
thing just absolutely just
out of nowhere, out of nowhere, it just goes from like 10 million market cap to 500 million. So
the cabal.
you never know
Is
when
that a
people are going
cabal
to
call?
start. They're going to pick one and they're going to pump one.
How do you get that? How do you I want that phone call. Like, hey, this is the one. This is the one. I would
Well, you never know if it's really the one, and until you're willing to put up all the money to be in those groups that do this, then they don't want to hear from the pores. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah. And, like that's the thing. I don't have time for any of those kind of groups anyway. I love the schedule and the flow of my day. I don't need to be in the DGen groups.
Right.
This is more.
Yeah.
I like hanging out with you. This is great, man. I love these Monday shows.
Hell yeah.
We got almost 200 people hanging out with us. Man. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us, man.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
for.
for coming in, guys.
Yeah. Don't even do it for me. Do it for Bleeves' sake. He is obviously still kind of scared and sad and snowflake melty because of the whole Kamala Harris loss thing. That you've been devastated. So, how many boxes of tissues have you been through in the last week with all your
He's
crying?
going to steal the abortions from my wallet. I saved those up.
Just
And he's going to defund the Department of Education. Department of Education is how I keep people uninformed and not knowing what's going on. What am I going to do?
hey, crypto's pumping though. Am I right?
Damn straight.
I think we might be hitting our cool off period. I hope. I think that, and in full disclosure, I really hope that we do. I'm a little underwater in a short right now. I did not think we had the buying power nor the push power to get up to 88,000.
And we don't until we do. You know what I mean?
And literally, it wasn't until I put that short in because it came up and it touched the line twice, and I was like, "All right, that's it. Like we're done. Like we've exhausted for the day." And then as soon as I fucking put in the short, it's like, "Oh, really, buddy? Think so?"
Yeah, I fucking dare you to do that again.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like everything is kind of cooling off. However, it's going to take some massive selling at this point from a lot of people who probably don't want to sell right now
Mm,
because that candle that surged, it's not wicking at the top. So, until you start to see a nice big wick coming off of it,
yeah,
then I mean, you would consider that we're just kind of consolidating in this range and that, we're probably still not done yet. I mean, there has to be a cool off, yeah, but I don't know if we're there yet.
yeah. I mean, honestly, it's at the end of the day, it's great for crypto. This is
Yes.
just amazing. I feel like my whole thing was like, we got that 100K. We're in my plan was maybe a little bit closer towards December, or in December is when we were going to try to get close to it, try to punch through it, but then just get like totally rejected. I honestly like, and I know we're still 13,000, $12,000 away from 100,000. That's insane. We're $12,000 away from $100,000 Bitcoin right now.
And you know what's crazy is like we can't call this shit. Like you
No,
never know when Wall Street steps in or when somebody steps in and says, LFG, baby, let's go.
Daddy
I'm
came.
curious. We have about 2 hours right now. In about 2 hours, the question is going to be, how does Asia react to this? Do they continue to pump the bag, or do they continue to just eke out enormous profit? Because this is a big move.
Yeah.
So
I
there
think
is a cool down coming.
honestly, like, and you pulled it up, and we can pull it back up. I can pull it up, or if you've got it up, we can pull up the liquidation heat map. But like, honestly, dude, there's way too much fucking money down there. There's
Yeah.
billions of dollars down there. There's way too much money for them just to let that shit sit down there and keep pumping and letting those people get those rewards. They gotta start
Well,
clearing that
let
up.
me point something out though. Let me move out here to the 1 year, because yes, there is. However, there's also insane amounts of money. There's $12 billion sitting right here. $12 billion sitting at 36,808. Okay. There's billions of dollars sitting at the bottom of this chart that will just never, ever
Mhm.
get liquidated, that will never get touched. So we do reach a point where we overheat so much that we're just probably not going to make it back down there. Like at this point, there's $12 billion sitting at 61,649. That's probably dead. We're not going there. 64, maybe 6, 7, 8 billion, right in that range.
Don't some people think that we've got a gap somewhere in the 50s that we got to come back and touch after the bull run?
We don't have to. Only 90 something percent of those CME gaps ever get filled anyway.
Okay.
I mean, they don't all get filled. They're just likely to get filled. And the question becomes, when would it get filled? And by the way, don't forget that there are insane wicks that happen, and we could run up through this entire bull market. And if you look at, a fib retracement, you're right about where we are right now. This is where the bear market comes into play. I think around 60,000 or something in the next run. So when that happens, like that futures gap could get filled on a $50,000 wick in the beginning of 2027.
Made me think of a joke, by the way, and that's all I could think of the whole time, so that I didn't forget it.
Go for it.
What does a CME gap and a whore have in common?
What's that?
They both get filled. Sorry, I had to.
They both do anal.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, I mean that gap might be, remember by the way, there was a gap at 16,000 that
It
didn't
never
get filled for 3 years
right. Well,
until the market
there is
broke
one
down.
at like 9,300 that will never get filled, I believe.
Exactly. It'll never get filled. But there was also one around somewhere between 16 and 20 somewhere back in 2022. And we were like, we'll never go back there. And guess what? Boom, we actually did exactly. We did exactly. We went down there, filled it. Boom, we'll never do it again. You know what I mean? So, yeah, wild.
Wow. We got anything else? We want to look at any charts? Anything hot? Anything? Everything's kind of cooled off that I was looking at. So, I mean, and we were looking as a community. We were looking at the VHS one. We were looking at Lucky. Lucky was on base. That was one that ripped. That's a 4X. That's down. Here, I'll pull my chart up so you guys we'll look at I got some stuff on here.
Yeah, while you're doing that, what I've got so far is Dog with Hats up 11% on the day. Aptos is up 12.5%. Avalanche up 8%. Brett's up 22%. Doge is up 17.5%. Crow, we already talked about. Near Protocol is up 13%. Manta is up 10%. Render, guys, I told you Render was going to break the fuck out. I hope you got it at $4. It's up 17% today. Rune is finally showing some life again, up 11%. Stacks, which is the smart contract for Bitcoin, is up 13.5% today. Um, and all of the, by the way, here's what's funny: all of the privacy coins tanking today.
Yeah, you know what was funny? I was noticing like Monero, like everything's up double digits, and Monero was down like 2 or 3% the last I saw.
Yeah. Yep.
Wild.
I have no idea. I don't know what's going on with them. I have no idea.
Today's
MX
a
for
strange
the
day.
MEX exchange is down today. Fuck those guys. I hate those.
Which one?
So that's fucking MEXC.
Oh,
Fucking
yeah, it's
scam.
like a whatever.
I'll never do business with that piece of shit again.
Makes sense.
That, dude, I've never been so fucked over by, and by the way, no matter what, I had $100 million, $120 million traded under me on
Mhm.
MEXC. My commission off of it was less than 5,000.
What?
There you go. You know it.
Yeah, no,
They
that's
changed
crazy.
their rate. What they saw, by the way, what they do, this fucking scam company, here's what they do. When they're way down at the bottom of the download charts, just like Coinbase, when they're
Mhm.
way down at the bottom, their rate is 0.06 or 0.05 or point 0.5, their their fee. What they do is when they start getting up there and they start noticing retail returning, then they drop their rates to point 0.2 or point 0.1, which, and I understand what they're doing, but that fucks all of us that they're partnered with to do stuff. So I get, $2,000 for a month at 20, 20 million. And then I get, this wild month of 100 and something million. And I make almost no money off. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? I would have made 20 or 30,000 with every other exchange. And they did that for months. And then all of a sudden when retail goes away, they put the rates back up again. But and they don't help you either. Like they don't help you either. They're just, you're on your own. And then they cut me off because I'm in America and MEXC is no longer in America. So,
Yep,
but that's
yep.
just a fucking scam, man. They are a fucking scam.
Well, I'm gonna be working with Femex soon. I know that that's one that people got a KYC for.
Yeah.
It does accept if people, some people have that Palau ID. I don't. I have a legacy account. So we'll be doing some stuff, through Femex and stuff. And that to me, it's an exchange that I know and I like them, and it works well. I know it doesn't work for everybody, unfortunately, but man, I thank God I've never had to use MXC. I've had trouble with BitGet. And then what was the man, trying to think, there was another one that we used to use, the yellow one, but I can't think of it anymore. uh
Deribit is yellow. Binance US is yellow.
it wasn't any of the Binance. It's funny, I recently was able to get into my legacy Binance account from 2017,
Yeah.
like the old school one, right? And I had $5 of BNB on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple $1,000s in BNB the other day for a project, and I was like, you know what? I've been fortunate. I mean, obviously, most everybody knows I got robbed, but I've been able not only to make it back, but I've been able to accumulate a lot of crypto and haven't had to sell. L Bank, there you go. Is that the one?
That's Thank you.
Um, but yeah, I've been able to. I've been fortunate. So I've been holding on to that BNB, and it was I think 2,000 when I got it, and now it's like 3,000 or close to 3,000. So yeah, everything is just kind of ripping right now.
It's a good feeling. I was doing it was a 5K portfolio challenge that I started for my this afternoon show, the 4 o'clock show in October, right? It was the October portfolio. And it was 5K, and it's currently up to 11,000, almost 11,500 bucks. And pretty
Nice.
much all of the activity has happened in November.
Yeah.
We call it Moonvember now. And with the kind of juicing a lot of that through leverage trading, really has really been the saving grace. That was really the most of the activity they had gotten in the month of October when shit really didn't happen. But now, man, I can't wait to see what this thing looks like in just 2 weeks.
Hell yeah.
Pump it.
I think that we're up another. We're probably due for another 20%. at this point. So I would say that 95,000 is definitely on tap.
This month, you think? November?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, shit, like it could happen fucking tomorrow. I mean, it could happen today if I feel like we've run out of gas. I'm looking at the 3-hour chart right now. Let me scale it down. I feel like we're running out of gas, which is a good thing. We kind of need to run out of gas for a little bit.
If you look at the hourly,
I'm
though,
kinda short.
the
I'm
hourlies
running
are
water,
still
man.
big wicks, still going up, you know?
I know
And
they're
we're
big,
at the
big
top.
bodies, man. They big
Yeah,
bodies.
we're at the top of the hour candle right now. Like, it looks like we're just about to go another hour and continue on, you know? I mean, until we don't, you know? Until we don't.
Well, it's going to be an exciting night. I hope everybody is glued to your charts. Just
Yeah.
keep refreshing that.
Altcoin season. That's what it's all about right now. It's really about altcoin season. Let's all get rich.
What's your biggest like high cap altcoin that you've got?
So as far as so I've got a bunch of BNB, a couple thousand in BNB at this point. I've got some Bitcoin, I've got some Ethereum. I'm holding on to those. But the one that, I mean, the one that to me is the big deal is, remember I gave you API 3 at $1.30?
Mhm.
It's at $1.80 right now. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, it's fucking ripping. And then Devi,
Mhm.
Devi was at 12 cents, is at 36 cents now.
Oh,
And I'm not sure, but I think they're about to announce their big time partnership. And I feel like I know who it is, but I'm not sure. Something that one of the devs said to me not to me directly, but in chat today,
mhm.
something that they said sounded like something that I heard that I even made a video on it, and for the life of me, I haven't. I've been racking my brain all day and I have no idea, but I think I did a video on it about 9 months to a year ago about something special that was happening. It was on one of my live streams,
Mhm.
and I think if I could just find that, then I think I would know. You know what I mean? Like, I remember, by the way, thinking this like 90 days ago or something, and I was like, I wonder who that company was, because I was really, and I couldn't find it. But here's what it is. There's a company out there that's they're not doing crypto custody, but they're doing, it's a cryptocurrency exchange for
Okay.
business only.
Like
This is
B2B stuff?
for Wall Street. Like, this is like a crypto exchange slash custody service for the bigs in crypto.
Hmm.
So I think that might be who they were talking about, the way it was worded. Well, and I can't remember who it is. I for the life of me. And I've been trying. Like, I know it's in one of my videos somewhere, but I had a lot of fucking videos. So
A lot of
there's no way I'm going back to that.
We're old, man. You can't remember everything.
Right. It'll just pop up someday and I'll know, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah,
Oh,
sure.
that's what we were talking about.
Exactly." And then once I find it, then I'll be able to use like AI and go back and figure it out and be like, "God damn it, I was talking about it a year ago." You know what I mean? But I know it's back there, and I just don't know the name of the company at this point. But I remember it was a big company. I was like, "They're doing that?" You know what I mean? Like, when I saw it, it was an article and I was like, "What the f-
Yeah.
is going
We're
on?"
taking it back. We're
Because that means to me mass adoption. And if they are partnered with them and that announcement comes out, then dude, this thing goes to a billion market cap, 2 billion market cap, just like that. You know what I mean? Like, once it gets to a billion, there'll be a retracement, like all things do. But then once it gets into the billion, then 5 billion, 6 billion, 7 billion. You know what I mean?
That's like there's like that sweet spot, right? Like if you time things right with like a bull market activity, right, and say you're in like that 3-ish billion-dollar range, like to 10x up to 30 billion at that point is not like out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean? Like that there is that kind of sweet spot where you see of that movement, that big shift, like the ones that move to the next leg. That's kind of the path that they follow.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's a 14 million market cap. So to get to a billion is, I want to say, 70x from where it is right now.
Hell yeah.
10 billion market cap is 700x from where
Everybody
it is
just
right
wants
now.
to hit one of those, just one of those, right? Where you put 1,000, you put 10 grand into one of those kind of things, and that just, it just changes your life.
Yep. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Speaking of fingers
Yeah.
crossed, last order of business here before we skedaddle for the day. Our beloved Bears, man, they're turning into a joke. They started strong. They started strong.
So I'm about to, you know, my videos have been going crazy. Like like my videos on the Bears have been going fucking nuts. So Matt Eberflus got to be fired. You know, it's out of control today. And God, now you got me annoyed, right? Now you got me fucked up because
You're like all twitchy.
Dude, today I'm waiting for them to fire him. I'm like, there's no fucking way he survives. You've got to do something before you walk up to the podium. And they were doing the press conference was 10:45, but then it was moved back to noon. I was like, all right, finally they're going to do something. And then Courtney Cronin from ESPN said, yeah, it was 10. It was, they just did 10:45 for a short period of time. There's actually noon when they normally do it, so it's no big deal. And I was like, well, they got to do something before noon, right? So he comes out for the press conference and he's like, yeah, we're looking at, making some changes. And they're like, well, what changes have you made so far? None. And then he was like, we watched, he's like, last night I watched the game again and I can see the need for change. I haven't decided what the changes are going to be. What do you mean you haven't decided what the changes are? How the fuck do you not see? You're
what? No. All right.
Dude. Oh, this motherfucker, man. This motherfucker is Hey, guess what? He's good for views though. So
that works. You can give him
damn it. I can't. He's lost the team. The team does not respect Shane Waldron, which, by the way, I think that's a mistake. I think that Shane Waldron's actually a decent guy. I don't think he's the problem. I think Chris Morgan and Matt Eberflus are the problem. There's two coaches that made it from last season to this season, Matt Eberflus and Chris Morgan. Chris Morgan is the offensive line coach. What's the worst thing that we have on this team? The offensive line. How is he still fucking up grown men at this level? Like, how is he still destroying the career of these guys? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. How is he still like what sex tape does Chris Morgan have on Matt Eberflus that allows him to just continue to shit on this team? You know what I mean? And he's also the running game coordinator. He was not the running game coordinator last year. He was the running game coordinator this year. Guess what? They went from the first ranked rushing offense to the worst ranked rushing offense with him taking over. The offensive line that he's in charge of can't do anything. The rushing game that he's in charge can't do anything. Why do you need to review the tape?
What
the fuck? You know what I mean?
Oh, frustrating. Hey.
Oh my God.
Maybe next year. Maybe
we're surging again. So 90,000 Bitcoin probably coming soon.
Coming to
JC, yeah, I'm talking about the Bears.
Yep. Go Bears. All right, guys.
Go Bears.
That's it for today. Thank you. My goodness. Stay glued to your charts. Watch your portfolios. You guys will all get girlfriends soon. I'm really proud of you. Just hang tight. It's easy to make the money. It's hard to keep the money. That's what the girlfriend's obviously going to want. So you got to make sure you guys hang on to it. So take those profits. That's what I would do. And
just
for
remember,
God's sake,
these hoes ain't loyal.
What'd you say?
I just said, just remember, these hoes ain't loyal.
No, man. They ain't. I just like to see a me gap. Time to get filled. All right. Have a good one. See you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you.